Legend claims that a doll made of hay will turn into a real woman who can satisfy Maine's needs. However, when unfortunate events happen around a small town, people suspect that the mysterious woman is the work of the devil. In the Swiss Alps, Birgit and her daughter gather mushrooms. When a young man directs the girl to a patch, she begins collecting the mushrooms only to discover skeletal remains under the soil. The police are soon called in to investigate. They also try to identify the man who directed the girl to the remains, showing her photos of missing teens in the area. To their surprise, she points to Albert, a young man who's been missing since 1975. The detective doubts that she saw a ghost, but Birgit recalls another officer who didn't believe in such things. In 1975, in the nearby town, Sheriff Sebastian and the townsfolk found Father Gian, who had ended himself in the church. The townsfolk wondered why a God-fearing man would do such a thing, so Father Sally suggested that Gian had become weak, allowing the devil to influence him. Despite committing a sin, Sally has held a funeral for the fallen priest and buried him in the woods. As the people returned to town after the funeral, they were surprised to find a mysterious woman following them. The woman collapsed, so Sebastian carried her away. Meanwhile, the pregnant Therese found a wooden carving that fell from the woman's clothes. The sheriff soon brought the woman to the station where he tried to clean her up. To his surprise, the woman woke up and kissed him. Just then, Dr. Zenga arrived. The man proceeded to check on the patient's vitals, but she remained confused by his actions. The doctor then suggested to Sebastian that the woman was suffering from amnesia. He was also concerned that she wasn't speaking despite not showing physical signs of being mute. So Jenga recommended taking her to the asylum. Sebastian refused, concerned that they would just give her shock therapy. Meanwhile, the townsfolk speculated about the woman, wondering if she had something to do with Xian's death. Their fears were compounded since Dans claimed to have seen a mysterious hooded figure in the woods 3 days ago, making him think that it was her. In contrast, Mayor Notter thought the woman was a substance user who wandered off. Their conversation was interrupted when Sebastian brought the person in question into the bar. He asked Therese for a room, but the woman didn't have any vacancies, yet took them upstairs anyway. After putting the woman in her room, Therese confronted Sebastian for bringing her there. She revealed that the wooden carving she found was similar to what her nephew Albert made. Therese's brother, Erwin, had been living in the mountains with their nephew, so the woman might have done something to them to get the wooden carving. To help figure out who she was, Sebastian took her to the station where he locked her in a cell to keep her safe and calm the townsfolk. He then headed up the mountain to where Erwin's barn was. However, the house was empty, so Sebastian left the note, unaware that someone was in the barn. Back in town, Sebastian assured Notter that since Erwin's gun wasn't around, they likely went out hunting. Upon arriving at the station, however, Salis was there, warning the sheriff that the woman had bewitched him. The priest then presented a crucifix, then started praying, scaring the woman. The sheriff stopped Salis and pushed him out of the station. He then comforted the lady and took her home that evening. There, he took a photo of her, hoping to use the image to find people who knew her. He also gave her a pen and paper which she used to draw a cross. As Sebastian tried to understand what she meant, the woman leaned to kiss him again, which he gently rejected. Instead, he took her to his bed to let her sleep. In the morning, Martin traveled to town and met with Erwin, whom he hired as a guide to the mountain to escape the city after his girlfriend left him. As they arrived at his barn, Erwin introduced the man to his mute nephew, Albert. Meanwhile, Sebastian woke up to the mysterious woman preparing coffee. She had also sorted through his photos, learning that Sebastian once dated Therese, but she left him for the mayor. Back at the barn, Erwin explained to his guest that his brother's place was buried in an avalanche. His brother's son, Albert, was the only survivor, but he never talked since the incident. Their conversation was interrupted when Albert stormed in, warning his uncle about something. With this, Erwin grabbed his gun and shot at a lynx that attacked a deer. However, he missed. Seeing the deer dying, Erwin posed to put it out of its misery, but hesitated when Albert cried for it. With that, Martin snapped its neck instead, ending its pain. After putting away the carcass, Erwin invited his guest to drink his self-brewed absinthe. Martin noted that the drink contained hallucinogens, yet the two continued drinking. Elsewhere, Sebastian brought the woman to the city to check through missing persons reports. As he sifted through old reports, he found a report of an unknown woman who went missing in 1950. She was with 3 herdsmen in the woods, but they were killed in a fire while the woman disappeared. Sebastian was in disbelief at how his companion looked like the woman from 25 years ago. With this information, the sheriff asked Notter to look after her while he went to the hospital to meet retired Inspector Matter. He was the one who investigated the fire in 1950, where the woman the herdsmen found became the prime suspect. They believed that she was a gypsy, hence why they never found her or the man's remains. Meanwhile, as Notter was busy, Sally snuck in and grabbed the woman. Before he could stab her, the mayor noticed and stopped him, allowing the woman to escape. The woman ended up at the bar where Therese was cleaning up. However, when the expecting mother raised the bread she was slicing, the frightened woman backed away. Therese thought she was afraid of the knife, but instead, the woman was fixating on the crucifix, like marking on the bottom of the bread. This caused the woman to rush to Therese. Afterward, she went to the mountains. Nearby in Irvin's barn, the man invited Albert to join them in drinking. This led to the kid dancing around. Irvin joked that Albert was ready for women, and this has Martin thinking of his ex-girlfriend. His host suggested that he get a new lady to get over his ex. Back in town, Sebastian returned to Notter's work to check on the woman. Seeing no one there, he rushed to the house and found the mayor in tears. Alarmed, the sheriff confronted him, demanding to know where the woman was. Notter accounted that Salis chased her away. Sebastian doubted him, thinking his tears were out of guilt. However, Chinga interrupted them to clarify that Therese went into labor 2 months early, causing their child to perish. Worried, Sebastian checked on Therese, who blamed the mysterious woman for her condition. She then slapped the sheriff, berating him for bringing the woman into their lives. Meanwhile, Irvin ordered his nephew to make a Sanantaji, which is a doll made out of sacks and straw. Legend claimed that 3 lonely herdsmen created this doll as they were longing for a woman's company. The devil took pity on them and made the doll alive, creating the Sanantaji to satisfy them. Albert finished creating the doll, so the men played around with it. Irvin even jokingly prayed for it to become real. As the absinthe took its effect on their minds, the doll turned into the same mysterious woman that stumbled into the town. The men enjoyed her company, thinking that she was still the doll. However, Albert grew frightened as she saw her eyes glow. The day after, the town held a funeral with Salis leading the prayer. However, he also declared that the mysterious woman was the cause of the child's demise. He also claimed that the woman was a creature who had killed before, presenting the newspaper from 1950 to show how she looked exactly like the woman in the photos. This convinced the people that she was a supernatural creature. With that, Salis ordered the people to draw a crucifix on their doors so she would avoid their homes. Meanwhile, Irvin and the others woke up to find the woman still in the house, convincing them that they made her out of the doll. With Albert watching over her, the other two discussed what to do. Martin wondered if she was the Sanandaxi, but Irvin hesitated, recounting the legend about how the creature killed the herdsmen after they took advantage of her. Throughout the morning, Albert watched over the lady, and his innocence gained her trust. Seeing her in a good mood, Martin introduced himself before taking her outside to Irvin. Martin suspected that she was a missing woman, so they should take her to the village before the police started looking for her. Despite his hesitation, Irvin agreed. While Albert and Martin tended to their chores, Irvin took the woman back to the house and offered to make coffee before leaving. However, as he watched the woman drinking water from the faucet, he got tempted by her beauty. Using the pretense of teaching her how to make coffee, he started touching her until he gave into the temptation. Seeing tears in the woman's eyes, Irvin felt guilty but acted like nothing happened. Martin soon returned, confused as to why they were still there. His host lied that the woman chose to stay, but his guest insisted on taking her to the village himself, afraid that she'd tell them what he did. Irvin reasoned that there was a storm coming, so it would be dangerous to traverse to town that day. This allowed Irvin to keep an eye on her for the day. However, when he left her to fetch something, Martin quietly took her away. Realizing this, Irvin told his nephew to fetch the gun as he chased after the two instead of the village. However, Martin directed the woman to the glyph, intending to make her disappear there. Because of this, the woman ran away, only for the man to tackle her in the woods. Irvin passed by them, so Martin clamped his hand over the woman's mouth to keep her quiet. As soon as he was away, Martin got tempted and used her as well. Now that he needed the woman to keep quiet about him, Martin took her back to Irvin's barn. He also forced Albert to give him his uncle's gun, allowing him to hold the man at gunpoint when Irvin returned. Given that Albert had a gun, Martin figured out that Irvin also touched the woman and feared that she would tell someone. Martin revealed that he'd done the same, putting the two in common ground. That night, the man watched as Albert taught the woman how to dance. Seeing them reminded Irvin of Marlies, a woman he loved but took advantage of, thinking she'd like him. Instead, she ended up marrying his brother but gave birth to Albert soon after. This meant that Irvin was Albert's real father. Drunk, Irvin scolded Albert for not taking his chance with a woman. He urged his son to use her, which made Albert panic. The man laughed as he ran away, leaving the woman alone with him. The two proceed to force her again. She tried to fight back by biting Martin, though this only made him angrier, so he harmed her further. After the man fell asleep, the broken woman took a knife from the kitchen and left. By dawn, the woman returned to Sebastian, who comforted her. He then snuck her into his car to take her away, only for the townspeople to ambush them, leading them to crash. When they checked, the woman was gone, so they interrogated the sheriff, with not her beating him as revenge for his child's demise. In the morning, Martin and Irwin found that the woman had killed their goats and sheep as revenge. Angry, Irwin rushed out to find her, but Martin discovered her hiding above the barn. The man offered to help her escape, even apologizing for what he'd done yesterday. However, he locked her in the cellar, promising to be back. Martin then told Irwin that he chased the woman up in the mountain. With this, Irwin rushed there with his gun. As soon as he left, Martin found that the bite from last night had become infected. Meanwhile, the wounded Sebastian returned home but found that Salis had drawn a crucifix on his door to prevent their target from going there. Recognizing the pattern, the sheriff fetched the drawing the woman made, realizing that it was the same crucifix that Salis was using. With this, he snuck into the church and searched the priest's office, discovering a hidden door behind his closet. The door led to an underground chamber with a bed and a doll inside. Later on, Irwin found Martin with a fever, yet he refused to be taken to the village, confessing that he was wanted by the police. This was because he killed his girlfriend after discovering that she was cheating on him. Martin now believed that this was his punishment. Still, Irwin refused to give up, so he ordered Albert to get absent to clean the wound while he placed their guest on his bed. When Albert arrived at the cellar, however, the woman knocked him out, mistaking him for one of the others. Realizing he was taking too long, Irwin went to check on his son but only saw the woman in the cellar. Thinking she was alone, Irwin locked her in and set the cellar ablaze. The woman managed to escape through the roof, but before Irwin could chase her, he finally saw Albert inside. Panicked, he kicked the door down and desperately attempted to save his son. As he lay dying, Albert called him father, revealing that he knew the truth. Irwin could only cry as his son died from his injuries. Just then, he found the woman peering from the window, so he quickly knocked her out and carried her back inside. At the church, Sebastian arrested Salis for attacking and imprisoning the woman along with murder. At the station, he interrogated him about the supposed gypsy from the 1950 case, whom he now realized was the mysterious woman's mother. He believed that Salis, who also joined the herdsmen back then, got the woman pregnant. To cover up his crime, he set the cabin on fire and blamed it on her. He then took his daughter and kept her at the chamber to use her. However, he couldn't care for her, so he tasked Gian to watch over her in secret, using the crucifix to scare her from running away. 6 days ago, however, she fought back and pushed Gian down the stairs, causing him to break his neck. She then ran to the woods where Ton saw her. When Salis found out, he made it look like Gian had taken his life to avoid suspicion. As he was thrown in jail, Salis defended himself, insisting that those women weren't human since the mother's body was never found. Just then, a young bearded told Sebastian that she saw the woman heading up the mountain earlier. With this, Sebastian rushed there to find her. At Irwin's home, the man bound the woman and used a crucifix against her, convinced that she was a demonic creature. Before he could stab her, however, Martin took Irwin's gun, demanding him to release her. Instead, Irwin threw his ice pick at Martin, which landed on the post next to him. Finally, Sebastian arrived only to find the house empty, revealing that the events with Irwin and the rest happened days ago. Back then, Martin shot Irwin in the arm, realizing that he was serious. The man finally released the woman. However, the traumatized woman stabbed Irwin, killing him. Fearing what she'd do to him, Martin raised his gun at the woman, but ultimately couldn't shoot her, knowing that she only retaliated because of what they did. Days after this, Sebastian finally found the woman hiding in Irwin's house. Overjoyed, the two kissed by showing him parts of the house. She revealed how she met Albert before taking him to the shed. To his horror, he found the three-man's body stuffed with straws. These confirmed that right after she escaped the church, she ended up meeting Irwin and the others first, leading to the tragic events there. She cared for Martin for a while, but he became delirious from his fever. The woman then walked to the village to get him help, which led her to meeting Sebastian. When the sheriff checked on Irwin later that day, Martin was still alive but hidden in the barn. When the woman escaped after her encounter with Therese, she got an idea and stitched straws into Irwin and Albert's bodies, thinking that turning them into dolls would bring them back to life. Martin witnessed this just before he succumbed to the infection. Now seeing what she'd done to them, Sebastian became afraid of the woman. However, this caused her to run away. Worried, he chased after her only for her to accidentally fall off the cliff. Panicked, Sebastian climbed down and found the bodies of the herdsmen, who Salis burned 25 years ago. Then he found the woman and, out of guilt, Sebastian shot himself. At the present, Birgit answers her story about Sebastian, believing that he died because he didn't believe their warnings that the woman was supernatural. However, her daughter points up, leading the detectives to find the mysterious woman's skeletal remains. Though this confirms that she died as a human, her tragic story that stemmed from Maine's cruel desires will never be told.